Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hot Springs and Hydras. I'm DarcyBits, and we are going into probably episode 5 if I haven't lost track. Everyone's hanging out by a river.
I think it's 4.
Pew pew pew.
No, okay, we have 1 to 2.
It's
and
number
then
5.
we had 2 for
I
the
was just
fight.
on the
Yeah, okay,
I was
yeah.
just on the YouTube channel. This is 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, I got there.
We got there. So, if you're joining us, go watch the other ones, please. So, we left off, and at the end of last session, you defeated a terrifying monstrosity and feel very experienced in having done so. And after...
My ears got longer.
we Did they?
That's how you
If
can
that-
tell
if
the
that
age of a
works.
rabbit folk. They have longer ears.
It's the sort of thing that's like so subtle and gradual you probably wouldn't notice until you went to measure it.
Oh, other rabbit folk notice, though.
That makes sense. It's not like
Would
they
it
just
eventually
suddenly...
drag across the ground when you walk?
Well,
Yeah,
the
do they
thing
hang
is your
low?
head also grows.
Oh.
Oh, so it balances out.
I'm just making things up.
I'm
out of
learning
it.
so much about rabbit folks
I
tonight.
encourage you to make things up. This world is what do you call
Yeah.
that? Half baked, I
Made
guess.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of room for improvement and adjustment. So everyone gets to hit the next level, which in our case is 4. We started at level 3 in this game. And I kind of want to go around and see if people have mechanical questions about things that they wanted to do. That's great, but I also would love to see a little vignette with each character, sort of like, I don't know. Like, experience is weird in D&D. It's not like you're suddenly just, hello, I'm better now. That's not, So, like, there might be some more
My
to
ears
it, right?
are longer.
Maybe you noticed something. Maybe you picked up something specific from something happening. Before we started recording, Chris Puddles, you were asking me about a feat.
Yeah, I was looking for a feat that would increase. I'm looking through feats.
Mm-hmm.
Basically because I realized that some of the feats give you one stat so that you're only losing one of your stats instead of both of your stats, and I only really need one. So I was wondering what was available, and there's some stuff from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything,
There is.
which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Notably telepathic and telekinetic.
Yes.
There might also be. Yeah. So telepathic seems cool. I was gonna have a discussion about how psychic magic is makes more sense in like kind of all magic kind of makes sense as psychic magic more than others, because a lot of the time it's based on like your wisdom or your force of will and stuff, which is kind of what psychics are kind of flavored as anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was wanting to mention it because it's not. I've been trying to stick to PHP mostly,
Okay.
or exclusively,
Okay.
but there are no feats in the PHP that appeal to me.
Okay. I thought you were
So-
going to say that don't increase your stats, and that's obviously not true. But none that appeal. That's reasonable.
Well, there are the only one that would increase my charisma, which is the one that I want to increase. That in the PHP is actor, which I'm not really into, and like skill or like resilient, which is like kind of okay, but doesn't really help me.
Yeah, for
Gives you
charisma,
proficiency
there's
on
not
the saving
much.
throws of the chosen ability, but I already have proficiency with charisma saving throws, so
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I kind of forgot that you were probably wanting a bonus to charisma. Should have been obvious.
yeah, there are other ones
I
that
didn't really think about
do
it.
other things, but not for
Mhm.
charisma.
Yeah. No, I think that. So how do those ones work? Those don't
How
increase.
telepathic works?
Yeah, those don't increase your like wisdom or intelligence.
telepathic is you get to increase int, wisdom, or charisma by 1. So it's
Cool.
like for casters, kind of.
Right, just like any caster ability, we don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, any of the mental abilities.
Right.
Right. So you got, if you split into physical and mental between the two sets of 3.
Right.
So instead of getting two stat increases, you get 1 stat increase, and then instead of the second stat increase, you get the ability to speak telepathically to creatures within 60 feet of me.
It's pretty good.
So
So do
which
you want
has to be in a language,
Yes.
and it doesn't allow those creatures to respond.
Right.
It also gives you a once a day detect thoughts spell.
Oh, that's nice. That's a cool spell. It's way more interesting than I think a lot of people give it credit for.
I don't know what it does.
Well, so one thing you can do is try and probe
But I'll
people's
find out.
minds and like learn things about them. But it's really hard to do that because you have to like successfully cast the spell and then like successfully probe deeper. Like it's like a 2-hit punch. But the really interesting use case is that it also lets you just know the location of any thinking creature with like nearby you, and that is actually really cool.
It's
Oh,
a rain
okay.
sonar.
There are some pretty cool things you could do with that, especially when it's not costing you like one of your spell slots. It's just like a thing that you have.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really cool.
Sweet.
So I don't think that things are happening like suddenly, right? Like it's way we think of D&D is weird, but like, is this something that you've always been able to do? Then it just hasn't come up yet. Is this something that you're going to sort of you've been working on trying to practice, and you've just finally hit a breakthrough? What are you picturing?
I'm still kind of working on that a little bit.
Okay.
To be honest, I think that it doesn't really make sense for it to be something I could do that just hasn't come up yet. It doesn't feel right.
Okay.
I feel like it fits well with being a sorcerer in
Right.
particular, of having sort of unexpected magical occurrences happening.
Right, and so that is what's
Um,
happening with you. Like you also are getting a spell, right? So, or maybe multiple. I don't remember how many spells you get. So that makes sense. You sort of
I get
like
to learn a spell.
found that you can do a thing suddenly that you hadn't been able to do before. Yeah.
I think that at least temporarily, until I like get used to this, I'll just kind of be broadcasting my thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I'll
Nice.
just be like telepathically.
Speaking, yeah, and not speaking.
Yeah,
to
like my
people,
inner
but,
monologue
like,
will just be like audible
great.
mentally,
Okay.
mentally audible to anyone within 60 feet.
I do hope people
Well, it's
react
within
to that.
that I can see.
I do always
Hmm.
find it weird when someone in D&D experiences something absolutely ridiculous and they just don't even bat an eye because like, it's D&D, of course you can do that. Not even gonna question it. It's like, come on. Part of the fun is going like, wait, what? What just happened? Cool. No, that sounds great. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, there might be more to it. Like maybe, I don't know exactly what the situation is right now in terms of this sort of corrupting force that we've been investigating, but
Could be.
maybe it being maybe there's an interaction with that, whether like things are less corrupt, and as such my affinity with the local environment is getting stronger again, and it's like kind of a good medium for my mental communication or something where it wasn't before. I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Nice. It's nice to just sort of think about the options like that. Get the ideas into the air. I should say before we move on, Bianca is not here today, so Flynn is around, but kind of in like a Schrodinger's box situation. Like he is doing what he needs to do or not doing what he shouldn't do, retroactively depending on what we need. I think I'm gonna try not to just like make decisions for him, but also not allow him to like miss opportunities. So we'll have to feel it out as we go. But likewise, I'm not sure what he's doing with this level. B, do you wanna say what you've got?
Yeah, so I'm also taking a feat. I'm thinking of taking it's called Eldritch Adept, and lets you take let's see, yeah. What it does is it lets you take an Eldritch Invocation, which is a warlock thing.
Yep.
And what I'm taking is called Misty Visions, which is a silent image at will, basically.
Yeah, and this is like a spell that you originally were considering taking for your character, but decided not to. So the idea that it just is a spell that you know, and you know it very well. Is there a reason that you have like so, I mean, two things, right? Do you think there is something eldritch about this?
Yeah.
And if there isn't, do you think, is there a reason, did you have an exceptional knack for it? And did it happen now? Like, did something change at the moment?
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. I think, like, I don't really know about the flavor of, like, I tapped into, like, Dark God or something, but, like, I think there's, like, something, I do feel like there's, like, something, like, wrong about this in a way, like,
Do you want to have a scene about it? Not, like, right now, but, like cue one up? Like, do you want to have a scene where this happens, something happens
I don't know if it's a scene, but I think like it's like something to do with like being showered in like goo.
Yeah, that did happen.
There's something of that. Like I feel like I ingested some kind of not like I feel like I got some magic. The spell I've been working on has like kind of like it actually like kind of feels like natural, even though like I was having trouble with it before.
Okay, cool. So it is like this idea that you've been had been trying to learn this spell previously. Maybe you like later we see you taking some time to like go back to practicing it, and
it just happens. Yeah,
and you find that it's like second nature, and you're not sure why. That is interesting. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you don't have to reveal like what your choices are, but do you get a new spell? As a arcane trickster, I'm not sure how often you get new spells with that subclass.
Oh shoot! Arcane.
You might not. It's a tertiary caster. They get things slower. Blah blah blah. So I'm just legitimately do not remember.
Well, I know where the chart is, so let me just go find it quickly.
Great. Well, while you're looking at that, Mocha, do you mind if I call on you? I know that you're a little split focused right now.
Oh, no worries.
Great. What are you doing with your level? Did you figure that out?
Yep, so I just followed what the sheet guided me through, and I picked the poison spray spell, so that's a new one.
Great.
Yeah,
it's a fun spell.
I think that's the only new one that I have.
Right. Did you take, you increased your stats just normal?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think it really matters what you took bonus to stats in. I think stats getting stronger is not sort of a dramatic enough thing that I really feel the need to say like, there's gotta be a reason for that. Yeah, you just literally got stronger by being a person.
Yes, my ears also got a little bit longer.
There you
go. You didn't notice, but Warren did.
Oh, I noticed.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So as it turns out, spellstone goes up from 3 to 4, and I get another first level spell slot. So I interpret it as I need to get another first level spell, which I can like work on while you're.
Yeah, if you have no second level spell slot, I think what it is you can learn a new spell as long as the spell is not of a higher level than spell slots you have. So you might also be able to swap spells. I don't know if it's that kind of class or not. Some of them let you do that, but it's really more of a like leniency towards the player than like an in-world narrative thing. So like I wouldn't worry about it. Generally speaking, if you need to swap something...
So is it like I have to find a spell in the world to like learn it, and I can know up to 4, or is it like
No, you should learn it just like by leveling up. You're not a wizard.
Okay.
Yeah, I've talked about this all the time, but it's so funny how like wizard is the classic caster, and as they added more and more casters, they just ended up becoming like the worst one. Like. In fiction, I mean, right? Like, they're actually just as good as every other caster. Like, they're a good caster. They have certain things unless they can do that other casters can't. But, like, narratively, it's just so weird to be like, oh, yeah, you're the classic caster. What do? I study for, like, 50 years to learn, like, 4 spells. And then I have to, like, record them in a book. I don't remember them. Like, it's just like, I learned these spells and then I could cast them. Like I don't have to memorize them every morning. What are you doing, right? Like yeah.
Well, sure, but they're also what I think is cool about it narratively is that they're the only one that a like normal everyday person can aspire to be.
Yeah. They are like, I learned to do this, and I think that I do enjoy
Well,
that.
All you need is to be smart and study for a long time, and you.
Well, I mean, if you could like worm your way into like a dark god's good graces, and I mean that's theoretically.
Well, yeah. The other options are be born with it, or maybe it's Maybelline. Or make some sort of pact with a divine entity.
You say that, but like, how did a ranger learn how to cast magic, right? How did
pact with a divine entity?
The power of
do it, right?
nature.
Yeah.
By the power of Grayskull.
Huh. I didn't realize that they could do that. Okay. Interesting. Well, Warren, what do you have for us? Oh, please go ahead.
Well, I know. Go ahead, Warren.
All right. Well, everybody's around there somebody's doing push-ups to make their muscles bigger. Somebody's like suddenly I walk by and I hear in my head that they're thinking about making a sandwich and what their favorite sandwich is. And that's weird.
Sardines.
What? Huh? I don't have any. What? And then Warren excused himself to go make. I'll be right back, guys. Just gotta go make pellets. And so he goes off into the woods for a while, for like a really long time. And what the rest of you don't necessarily know is that while he's indisposed, he's got this nursery rhyme that he heard as a what is a baby rabbit?
Bunny? Like,
is that a bunny?
I guess so.
Bunny, yeah.
I don't know.
When he was a bunny, just a little tail. And he's got this kind of rolling through his mind while he's out in the forest a little bit, and then there's a flash of light, and he's like, "What?" And he has a conversation with a being. Well, no, it's just a little kit. Yeah. Or is that fox?
Kid is fox.
But anyway.
Yeah, kittens or kitties are all the same thing.
Yeah. So he ended up meeting the good fairy, who gave him a mission to do better in life. And he knew who it was exactly. Like, she stepped forward expecting to like introduce herself, and he's like, no, my great uncle Fufu, right? And she was like, yes. And so then he was offered a deal to go make good in the world or suffer the consequences. So he decided to take the deal, and he had to stop being mean to little mice and spread good works and some chaos, but mostly good works.
So did this just happen? Because I feel like you were pretty nice to them mice.
I did bop them a few
did
times,
bop
but this is more of like...
True.
But I was trying to save them, and it's not that he was mean. It's more that his lineage, his family is connected to this pact, and it was this moment that it was his turn to have this conversation, and he takes the good fairy up on the offer and became a warlock, celestial warlock, for those interested in the D&D mechanics of it all, and just kind of comes back like.
I feel like we have to like actually have that scene. I appreciate you doing this like GM lifting for me, where I'm like, I'm just gonna let you do this. But I think I actually want to have that scene. That seems like something that we should actually play through. So you were you like sort of supernaturally called away, or did you actually leave to just relieve yourself?
Column A, column B.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's all connected underneath the hood there. Sometimes you just get those spiritual moments when you're off by yourself.
So I think it's largely as you described, right? Like this sort of bright light appearing before you. And I think maybe even like somebody
guys,
else,
there's- might
just
be
for the
some trouble
sake of
over-
like contextualizing it from like what would the camera see kind of a situation. I think we get one of those shots where we see it appear to you, and then we see the camera like shift focus, and it's like focused on another person, and there's no light in front of you, right? It's just you there. Like clearly, you're the only one who can see it. Is sort of the idea. Not that someone
Just
can really has good line
staring
on
into the
you,
trees.
but the light's not like pouring through the trees, and everyone's like, "What's that thing over there?" Yeah. So there's something, and you're not sure that no one else can see it, but nobody reacts.
Hello?
Would they refer to you as what? You talking about your lineage, right? Are you you Cottontail? Like what is the?
Yeah, sure. I like it. Let's,
like,
I didn't actually
Peter
put a last
Cottontail,
name.
right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm a Cottontail by like third removed cousin kind of thing.
Oh, well,
But
they
keep
would
in
still
mind,
think of you
rabbits
as
have
Cottontail,
huge families,
right? Because
yeah.
that's the lineage that she cares about in this moment, right?
Oh yeah, I apparently have a last name now.
I mean, maybe you don't, but she refers
I
to you
love
as
it.
Cottontail.
No, I
right?
want that.
Because
I
you
want
gotta
that.
be for the sake of us doing this weird nursery rhyme tie-in thing, which I think is very appropriate to the like whimsical nature of what we're doing here. Like, yeah, feel free to pull in any fairy tales you
Just
want.
wait till we get to the Watership Down stuff, and it gets real dark.
Oh, I've never seen Watership Down.
Anyway, let's keep going.
I have friends who love it though, so yeah. Cottontail.
What? Did you talk in my head again?
It's time, Cottontail.
There's more sardines at the bottom of the pool.
Maybe later with the sardine. I'll be right back. I gotta go make pellets. Hey, why can't they see you?
I'm a vision only for you. You must
Oh,
continue your destiny. The one given to you and those before you.
oh wait, I know what. My auntie always told me that this day might come. I have to ask you a quick question. Are you a devil? Because you have to tell me if you're an undercover devil.
Speak with your heart and not with your wit.
All right, I didn't think so anyway. You're. I mean, the wings kind of gave it away a bit, but
You will do good
you're.
for me?
Sorry, I didn't actually hear what you said there, Darcy.
I just said, you will do good for me. I haven't really pictured how they appear. You just said wings, so there's something that's being visible to you. I was largely thinking just like a glowing light, but I kind of want them to have limbs so that they can like reach down to you with sort of like weird otherworldly like long like disproportionate limbs. I always love throwing some weird proportions into something otherworldly.
I can do good, but you're not here for all the. I mean, I know what you. I know what you supposedly did to my great uncle, and if I don't live up to some like super high good fairy standard, are you gonna?
Accept
Do
my
I
gift.
get turned into a ghoul?
Accept my gift, and I will be watching. Refuse,
I mean that.
and I can't
sounds-
keep an eye on you. So, who knows what could happen?
I mean, I get more than one chance if I don't do good all the time, right? Like I get some warnings.
I'll be watching.
All right.
And you feel this like
But no goon stuff.
weirdly
Just let me know
small
if I'm getting
hand,
close.
like touch your cheek,
Ugh.
and the light pours into you, and they fade away. The light going dim, and it's the middle of the night again.
Whoa. Okay. I'll try.
Great.
And then I head back to the rest of the group and kind of get my campsite ready.
Excellent.
I pull out my lute and I sing a song. And, oh wait, I don't know if I can do this. No, I can't. Never mind. Almost all my bards have unseen servant because, dude, who wants to set up your own campsite?
I mean, if you're casting a 10-minute ritual, did you really, like... I see, it's
Yeah, but I didn't have to, like...
or not?
I didn't have to put the tent up.
I would... It sounds... less...
Sing a song for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'd rather
or
sing
do
a
the
song
dishes.
for 10 minutes. Yeah,
exactly.
That's
I'm
fair.
with you.
That's fair.
Well, unfortunately, I do not have that ability yet. So I'm just lazy and I make others do it while I play the lute.
Wow.
Let's move ahead a little bit. Where we left, Jiraga, the wizard that you had been tracking, has been tied up. Flynn keeping a close eye on them. Aldrin has been injured. I think we left them unconscious, and the one mouse that you found has been maimed and is also unconscious. So you are situated at the bank of a river with a deteriorating abomination leaking into it. And it is like 2 a.m. or something. What do you do? We can jump ahead. We don't need to play things like moment by moment, but I would like to know what that is so I have somewhere to jump to. I don't want to just decide things for you.
Well, there was one thing I was about to say about like leveling up and whatnot.
Great. Let's do that first.
Which is not necessarily an issue right now. But at level, I don't even know if we'll get this far, but at level 6, as a draconic bloodline sorcerer, I'm supposed to get a bonus. I'm supposed to get a damage bonus to spells that do the same damage type as my draconic ancestry breath weapon.
Yes.
Which for me is lightning. So I've been like trying to pick lightning spells, but there basically just aren't any.
Yeah.
I
mean, there will be higher level, but yeah, you're right. You're largely correct.
But there are ones that do thunder damage, and I'm wondering if that... I feel like that should be close enough.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Again, it's not an issue at the moment.
It's not an issue at the moment, yeah.
I'm
happy to let you shift.
You want to know about something that grinds my gears?
That thunder, that like sound and electricity are different things. They really have nothing to do with each other.
They are different things, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, force is different from thunder, which doesn't make sense. But
force is stupid. Force is just like arcane damage, right? It's not like an element.
Oh, that's a different type of damage.
Yeah. Force is supposed to be like
damage.
Yeah, it's like
actually, no, it does do force
magic.
Magic missiles do force damage.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. They're just like they're bullets.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's the classic. You either are throwing like an element of fire or ice or something, or you're just doing pure magical energy, and it's like, we gotta call that something. I mean, it could have just been piercing or whatever, but nope. They decided to make their own thing for it, which is why force damage is one of the least resisted damage types because it just isn't something you think about when you're designing a monster.
And I'm a warlock, baby.
Kinda.
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, I mean that's an
It's
interesting
Eldritch
point.
Blast, force
Like,
damage?
It is.
Do you need to? I mean, let's talk about that for a little bit. I'm kind of curious. I feel like you're not just gonna like accidentally cast a spell, right? But also, you didn't have to really get trained to cast the spell. The knowledge is just kind of there. Yeah, totally. Right.
I think he does have some amount of discovery. Like when I go back to the camp, I have a lantern. Mm-hmm. And I'm like trying to light it, and I'm like got the tinder box out and spark, and then I just wave my hand and there's a spark of light. And I'm like, what the? And I wave it again, and then all of a sudden, like it lights up, and I can now cast light.
Cool. Okay,
so that kind of thing. And now some of it he knows.
Yeah.
And some of it's instinctive. Like
I think that's a lot of it, right? It's almost like makes me think of. What's that, like biological memory? You have like memories
exactly.
from the past warlocks in your family.
Yeah, exactly. And like these tales come to his mind, or a tune kind of gives him a pops into his head, and sometimes right out into the open. I keep accidentally casting minor illusion spell like music as I'm walking around. That kind of thing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, just wild stuff just happens around my rabbit.
Well,
wild rabbit.
I feel like, we need to talk a little bit about what is happening. Everyone's dealing with not just them leveling up, because that's kind of meta, but dealing with the residual energy of the fight ending and that tension sort of being released. Do you immediately go, well, let's set up a campsite? Or, like, what is everyone's thought in this moment, right? Aldrin's unconscious. And, so...
Thoughts are probably along the lines of, what the heck was that thing? Why was it so mean?
Yeah, have that conversation.
Yeah.
We gotta tend to the wounded, so... Wait. And I just instinctively do my healing light, one to each of them. Boom, boom. It's gone for the night now.
How does that work?
It's a warlock feature. Sorry. Mm-hmm. It's basically healing word for free. But basically, it's healing light, and I can give out a D6 of healing as a bonus action, or more than one D6. So in this case, I give one, then the other. So it's like I pause, I see the wound, and I just want to do something about it, but I feel kind of tapped out. But wait a minute, and it's almost like the story, like scooping up the field, and then just like extends his hand, and then Aldrin gets a D6 worth of hit points, and same for the mouse.
Great. Okay. Yeah. I mean, by the name, I'm assuming there is some obvious light to this effect.
Sure. Love it.
What's the name again?
Healing light.
Healing light. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
This sort of light within you comes out that was put there
just little
moments ago.
Twinkly fairy lights kind of sparkle around them, and then they're feeling better.
Yeah, and so you see any sort of residual wounds like close up. It's magical healing, knitting things together. You do recall that the brunt of the wounds on the mouse actually had been sort of like knit up immediately in a way that wouldn't happen in like for real time waiting for something to heal, or at least not as quickly as they did. And you're reminded of the glass bottle that they have sort of slowly rolling out of their hand as they continue to lie unconscious despite their wounds being healed. And, of course, Jiraga is tied up. So, you're in kind of again, it's the middle of the night. Do you think, hey, let's set up camp? I don't know if that's the sort of thing that a lot of you do, honestly, right? Like, you're not what we think of as quintessential adventurers, right? You're
I think like I think what we want to do is like having like it's kind of unfortunate Bianca's not here, because like I feel like we might have words about this, but I think I would want to like I guess I would be eager to like bring I guess bring Draga back to somewhere that's not the main city. It's like, oh, we gotta stop here. We gotta stop at like the inn, so the hot springs.
I mean,
And spend the night there
I don't know
first.
that the roads are safe at night.
That makes sense.
I mean, you're not out the roads, right? You are in the wilds. But it makes sense
I don't
to
know
be
if the
like
wilds are safe at night.
the idea of saying let's get back to the hot springs is a reasonable thought. Although you do remember that you did walk a decent distance. I think at least like half an hour of walking, which isn't that much when you walk all the time, like fantasy characters do. But
Yeah, that's not that much for finding a campsite.
Right. So, a thing to consider. Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to head back, I don't really know the way, but we can maybe carry these 3.
3?
Yep, 3.
Well, we got the mouse, and we got Aldrin, and we've got the rat boy over there.
Oh. Aldrin, are you awake?
We should definitely not get too close to that nasty, I don't know, Hydra thing. What do we call that? Like, stepping in goo in the dark is probably not a safe idea.
Puddles, do you want to try to wake up Aldrin?
I go over and look at him. Is he's the one who got all the acid all over him?
Yes. So he's got he
Oh.
has acid burns. They've been washed away and treated as best as you could so they wouldn't get infected. But he's unconscious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I seem to
Every
recall
time you
looking
say
at-
acid burns, I keep thinking hack the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get your reference. I'm sorry.
It's hackers.
It's okay.
I think one of the
Terrible
handles is acid burn. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrible, awesome movie.
I didn't watch it till I was an adult, and I was like, all of these people are babies. Look at all these babies. Because I only knew them as adult actors, and there's a ton of. It is full of actors that you know. It's so weird.
Yep.
It's like star-studded, but they clearly weren't stars yet. Like they just were babies. Anyway.
Well, Aldrin was in pretty bad shape, right? Was he at 0 hit points?
I mean, I'm not gonna give you numbers, but they are unconscious, right?
Well, yeah, that's what 0 hit points represents, unless you got.
You were correct, but also they have been
cast
healed.
on you or something.
They've also been healed, and I'm not waking them up immediately because I don't think they would immediately jump to their feet just because they have hit points, right? I feel like there's
Also, because of the
Clearly
acid
you've
burns,
never
they
played
probably
D&D
just
before.
scream a lot.
they're an NPC. Yeah, you're also right, Todd. NPCs have different rules. Generally, at 0 hit points, an NPC dies. So, I got to be a little.
I thought it was a little weird that they were around.
Mm-hmm.
Did one of the mice die? Anyway, I don't know.
One of the mice had their arm maimed, and they are unconscious as well. Did they die? Did they not die? I'm trying to be narrative with it and not be too rulesy because the rules don't really cover that, right? They cover PCs. That's what they're about.
How many people do we have that are not unconscious?
That are not unconscious? Oh,
I'm basically thinking you can basically hear all of this going through my head, by the way.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So how do people reacting to these intrusive thoughts?
And then you can hear me thinking to myself, well, if there's 6 of us, and there's 5, and then the mouse, we can make some stretchers out of it, or some of those stretchers types that you drag. Even we can make some stretchers out of the branches here, and then each 2 of us can each carry one of these, and yeah, we'll be.
I'm going to do a check to see if I even notice you're not actually saying this out loud, because I'm an ADHD bunny. Let's admit that right now. And I probably don't look at you, so I just assume you're very verbose. Oh, that.
I think I am also kind of mumbling under my breath, but you're just like probably wondering why you can like hear me mumbling and hear me clearly speaking in your head.
Right.
I don't know. Do I notice that they're not actually moving their mouth, like saying the words aloud with an 11 perception?
I'm gonna say no. I think that's interesting. But likewise, I mean, the rest of you, Cass or Winston, you will be hearing these thoughts. And I think it's very possible that you're just thinking like, yeah, no, I agree, or whatever, like not even realizing. Because it's not something...
Yeah,
like, I feel like in real life, if you suddenly heard telepathic thoughts, you would not assume that's what it was, because why would you think that? That's not a thing, right? Like...
Yeah. Even though it might feel different if you know it's up, like it's like you ignore the difference because like you've never had that happen before.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's just kind of rude whenever he thinks like, oh, that person's really dirty or whatever it is.
Jeez, I think your life. What do you mean?
Sheesh, Motormouth.
I think Winston's pretty preoccupied with all the unconscious bodies. I was thinking he might use his druidcraft to make some snow so he can pack the arm in it in case it needs to be reattached
That's
later.
a good idea.
Aw, that's cool. Yeah, so Druidcraft can do, like, small things. I think that's within the scope. That's, like, more than I would normally... I don't think I've ever seen someone use that much as word Druidcraft, but sure, that feels like an appropriate thing. So, as you're doing that, like, what does that look like? Are you sort of, like... I kind of picture you almost, like, taking mud and, like, reshaping it into snow, weirdly. Does that make sense? It doesn't really.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking,
just like as you pack it, it just
he has
like
water, and then he turns it into snow.
Yeah, I mean there is just like a river, so that's also you could just.
I was thinking he like scoops up the water, but as he scoops it up, it turns into snow.
That's actually really cool. Yeah, I can visualize that really well. So yeah, I mean anyone who wants to witness that, I feel like I need to start jumping ahead because it seems like not a lot of decisions are being made. So the question becomes, are we going to sit here and wait for people to wake up? Are we going to try and wake people up? Are we going to try and take people back to the hot springs?
I vote take people back to the hot springs.
Yeah.
I was going to vote to move a safe distance away and set up a perimeter and get some rest before and travel during the day. But I will go along with whatever you guys want.
I think Cass will be a little bit insistent.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right?
I mean,
you're saying something like, oh, yeah, we just came from Winston's Hot Springs. They are not that far from here. It's going to be better than any, like, the small time traveling is going to be worth it to not be having to camp in a dangerous situation, right? Traveling through a dangerous situation
fair.
is better, yeah.
I'm convinced.
But if that is the case, you do need to think about your traveling. I think that probably...
I'm going to get out my lantern and suddenly realize I can now cast the light spell.
Cool.
So just out of habit, I cast it on the lantern.
Yeah, I love a lantern that has
actually
light
need
cast on
to.
it. You like open the like door of it and you cast it on the center, so it's still coming out through the glass.
I mean, I could always use prestidigit. Actually, I don't remember if I had prestidigitation, but I do now. So I'll actually like prestidigitate the lantern to be lit.
Right, the like flick
as well.
Totally. Great.
And I'll be like, well, that's weird.
Likewise, we see Winston, with this snow-covered arm that is sort of like beginning to melt, but then being like frozen up again by their magic, and they're sort of maintaining that. Probably that is them preoccupied as far as like carrying people goes. Now, that said, they're a mouse. They're not that big. Probably one of you could carry the mouse pretty easily. Aldrin,
Who's
a bit
the
larger.
biggest of us all? Of the conscious people, I mean.
Either Winston or Puddles. Yeah.
I feel like I'm probably the biggest, but actually, yeah, we were saying with Capybara that Winston was very large. I don't think my strength is the highest, so if we're going by strength, but
I
in
could
terms of
probably
like,
carry him on like the flat part of my nose, head. Because I was thinking he's like upright because he needs to use both his arms. So
Yeah.
he could just put him on like the head. He's like giant flat head.
I actually do have some rope so we could build a little seatbelt. It would be tie it on like a bonnet.
Oh, that would be so cute! A dead body
All right.
bonnet.
I'll do that.
oh no,
And I'll
that's not
help.
cute at all.
I'll help with the mouse. Or are you talking about the mouse?
Oh, I was thinking about the mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rest is what the arm belongs to.
If anyone you were gonna do, they would have to be the mouse. The mouse is the smallest. Aldrin and Jiraga are sort of like, medium as opposed to small, if you will.
Well, I'm
But
fairly
what's the
small.
issue? We can go two to a person, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Because we've got, if we need to carry Jiraga and the mouse, the injured mouse, and the bird person, we can have two people carry each one because we have Cass, Puddles, Flynn, Warren, Winston, and the uninjured mouse.
No,
So that's 6.
you do not have the uninjured mouse.
Oh, that's
No?
a good point. I'm gonna just call.
Why not?
Does everybody mind if I make a bit of noise for a minute?
Because they
Yeah.
love.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm gonna run down towards the river and call out for this mouse and be like, "Hey, mouse being, the problem's got your friends here. Well, most of them. Mouse."
Do you do anything to make that happen? Like, they started going off a while ago in combat.
It was a
and
long time ago.
It wasn't that long,
I'll-
honestly. Like, it's the sort of thing where, like, things happen fast, but the point about it, I mean...
How did they go?
Down the river.
And I literally do minor illusion like a sign, as though handwritten, but like
Okay.
very large, as big as I can do it in 5 feet.
Okay.
Like, big bubble letters say,
I was
"Come back."
honestly wondering...
Just as I shout,
I
"Come
was
back."
wondering if you have a spell that lets you amplify your voice, because that is a cantrip.
I don't have that. I do have prestidigitation, so I can do like minor sparks.
always forget
I
which
will
one lets
cast
you do
light
that, because
as far
honestly,
down as I can see.
thaumaturgy and
Actually, you know what?
prestidigitation shouldn't be different spells. They should just be one. It's stupid. Anyway, that's my
It's true.
opinion.
I'm gonna cast light on a piece of wood, a small bit of driftwood, and I'll
Okay.
chuck it in the river and send it down the river to see what it might show me, and I'll just see if I can see anything.
That
And
is
you know
fair,
what?
'cause it
I'm
is
actually
dark,
gonna
yeah.
take out my light. I'm gonna take out my sword and try to like hit a tree branch to make like a drum sound.
Mhm.
And this is where I figure out I can accidentally cast Booming Blade now. So I
Okay.
hit it, and it's like, brrrr, and it's making no noise. And I'm like, what? And then I knock it over, and then it goes, I'm just like, whoa. Whoa.
So, great. A few things will happen. First thing that happens, I think, is... Well, a lot of things happen sort of simultaneously, which is that you have unconscious people who do have hit points. They're, like, able to wake up, and there was a loud thing. They're not so wounded that they are unable to be roused. And that would do it. Who's near whom? So that I can... Yeah.
I would have been a bit away by the river.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would definitely be thunderous. It doesn't say how far, but I'm assuming it's similar to like thunderclap, which is 100 feet or
Yeah,
something.
usually they do mention like a thing. I don't really care. It's not like it gives you decibels.
This one
says
just says
distance,
thunder
yeah.
damage.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not supposed to like do sound or whatever, but I'm happy to say
I
that
think
it
I'm
does.
near Birdie Man.
Great. Yeah, Aldrin will probably get out a little squawk, an instinctual squawk.
Sorry, my bad. My bad. Just trying to.
And of course, the mouse squeaks awake. But I think most notably, Jiraga was only unconscious via a spell, and that spell wore off probably a while ago. It only lasts a minute. They have been gagged and very well tied up by Flynn, and just immediately start.
Whoa, what's that noise?
Sorry, the thunder was me, but I think that's our. And I'll come walking back. No sign of the mouse from the river.
What?
Well, how far down the river is the mouse? Like, can we see them if we look down the bank of the river?
No, you can't. It's
you can see a glowing stick.
Yeah.
All right.
Aldrin starts to get to their feet. Oh. We, one then. Is Jiraga still? And then they hear Jiraga struggling. And they start to walk over there. Whereas the mouse, who... I don't know how much stuff happened. I'm not going to say they're tied to Winston's head. That seems weird. But they start to sit up. Still kind of sat.
Small
just
lad.
very...
Oh,
Hi.
thank goodness you're alive. Oh, I almost made pellets thinking that you might have died right in front of me own eyeballs.
Is Tiff safe?
Tell
me Tiff is safe.
Is that your tiny little friend?
Your friend rode away.
Yeah, they went down the river.
Good.
We were just calling. Sorry, that was me making the loud noise.
Good. Good.
What's your name? Or should we just call you Mouse?
I'm Jez.
All right. I'm Warren.
Tiff is a...
Winston is me.
Hi, Jez.
Happy to...
I'm Puddles.
It's good to make your acquaintance. Thank you.
You're brave.
We probably wouldn't
Mouse.
have got out of that otherwise.
You did some good back there. You tried to take that thing on. Although we barely got out of that alive.
Well.
Do
you know what that thing was?
Tiff said that she was going to come up the river and figure out what was causing the glint rot, and I wouldn't let her go on her own. Didn't expect to see that. Oh, yeah, that's what she's calling it. There's some kind of disease. She's a herbalist in Oriok Harbor. I don't really know much about it.
Glint Rock.
Is Oriok Harbor downriver?
Yeah.
Because I imagine we would know the area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there maybe perhaps a doctor in that area that you are from?
Or a cleric?
Well, I mean, Tiff's the best one.
I tried to fix your arm, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
I think she
you're
looks
kind of missing a
down
limb
and
here.
like notices for the first time. Oh.
Here, and I'll pass over a wineskin.
She'll take it. She'll take it.
I'll obviously uncork it for them and pass it over.
Yeah. Great. She'll drink from that. Yeah. So, meanwhile, Aldrin has gone over to approach Jiraga. I imagine Flynn has been basically standing guard next to Jiraga. this entire time. And well, I mean, if people are sort of, I guess, I mean, it's not a large area. You're gonna hear things, and I think they're mostly kind of, I guess they're talking to Flynn. I don't want to do too much of like a roleplay scene without Bianca here, but basically, you're all hearing the discussion where they're like, well, thank you, you did good. Wouldn't have been able to do that without everyone here's help. I'm gonna have to take Jiraga back to the council now, though. Really isn't any time to lose. So, you're all privy to that. What does everyone do? This is the current thing. Jez is just still kind of sitting, just dumbstruck and not really sure, but also
I'm gonna
glad
pass
that
around
Tiff isn't
some of the
still here, like
some food
in danger.
I'll pass around some food. It's not
nice.
great, but just some pellets. Not that kind of pellets, different pellets.
Scared me for a second.
Intake pellets, not. Anyway.
What were you saying,
I
Cass?
thought you found my secret stash.
It's like gerbil food.
Yeah.
I think you can hear me thinking to myself, this is something I definitely don't intentionally say out loud, is like, oh, are rabbits one of those people that like chew their food twice? Is it one of those types of pellets?
I mean, like, eat it how you want to eat it. I like mine with some water in a bowl, but
Actually, at that, I think that's a good moment for Jez to look over at the remnants of the creature draining into the river and just being like, yeah, that water's not good. I think we found the source. Don't know what we're gonna do about it.
Should we not let that get in?
I hope this was the last of them.
I mean,
yeah,
can we barricade it or block the water? Block the path so it doesn't flow in the river?
We can't. I mean, if we. I'm not sure if that would help. Then river's damp, but then you're not drinking it, but you can't drink it.
Well, no, I mean, like, just
she
stop
starts
the
to kind of like
from,
talking to herself. Yeah, we should at least pull it out, though.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
I think Aldrin turns to everyone.
A little bit of my rope.
Raises their voice like they had just been talking to Flynn, and they turn back and go, "Thank you all. You did wonderfully. I will certainly be letting the council know when I return." And they grab onto the Jiraga, and they pull a scroll out of their pack.
Yeah. So I guess Cass is gonna be. Wait, are you? What are you doing?
Need to take them back to the council. Need to answer. We need answers. They turn to Jez, who they hadn't really been introduced to, but they sort of heard the bits and pieces. You said that this has caused some disease in your village. We'll definitely let the council know. We'll have some help as quickly as we can.
Cass is kind of panicking, and is anyone looking at Cass?
Probably not. You disappear. You're a rogue.
I mean, are you somewhere that is where we're likely to not notice you?
Well, I think I'm staying by Draga.
We're probably looking at you then.
Yeah, because
we're watching this all go down.
Yeah, Aldrin's holding Jiraga, so if you're next to Jiraga, then they're going to be able to see you. Yeah, but
do you want to be seen, or do you want to not be seen?
I'd rather not be seen, I guess.
Rogues.
Okay, I won't be watching that.
Please. Yeah.
I think I might just like make it look like an accident. So my sword's staying by my side, right?
Your sword?
It's like I have it like I don't have it in like a scabbard. I have it in like
sure. However you want it, you can establish the facts.
I have it just like hanging on my side. I was gonna like turn away, but as I do, I want to make it look like I accidentally or maybe not even. Maybe if you weren't looking, you wouldn't even notice. But notice that was my fault. But I will move such that the sword hits some of the rope that's binding his hands. And
you're gonna try and cut the rope that is holding Jiraga?
Yeah.
I don't think, cutting through a rope is harder than you might think. Without a concerted effort, I don't think you can do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe a distraction.
Maybe a distraction.
Yeah.
How do you plan to cut the rope?
Oh, actually, I have an idea. I feel like I've kind of figured out silent image now.
Fair.
I'm gonna go. Hey, look, and then like they're gonna look and they're gonna see image of Jiraga running into the woods.
It is a still image, though, just so you're aware.
No, it's silent. It's silent image. It's not.
Oh, silent image.
Yeah,
No, that is
not
actually
minor
moving.
illusion.
Yeah.
That's the eldritchification that she took from. There's a feat that lets you take one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work.
So unless you're like covering up Jiraga, like they're gonna see two.
Yeah. I think I could say. Oh my gosh, that's not the real
Yeah, but
Jiraga.
if she says, "Hey, look over there," and then they look over there, the only one they're going to see is the one that's running away.
I guess.
Yeah.
I do like what you're saying, though, B. You're saying that it's like this Jiraga is the illusion.
Yeah.
But it sounds like. Well,
And then that's
you go
thing.
ahead.
I think I'm accepting I'm gonna have to roll, but
Yeah,
I want to be like.
My initial thought is that like the casting of the spell gives you an opportunity to make a bluff check.
Yeah. It definitely is like if you are saying like, "Hey, look," that is its own check. But even if they look, like you have like you're not tunnel visioned. Like where are they looking? Is it behind them?
It's like to the in by the tree line on the side we're not standing on.
Okay.
It could be like, "Hey, look, they're getting away." Could be the bluff.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out like the logistics. I don't want to just be like, yeah, you do that and it doesn't work and you look like a fool. Like that's not interesting, right? I'd rather figure out if it
I
makes
think it
sense
could work
first.
with the right kind of timing. I just don't know that, like, in the middle of this, it would immediately pan out.
Yeah. Okay, here's what I'll tell you. You could make a roll to like distract people.
Yeah.
Some people might be able to get like distracted and go, "Oh wow, that is actually Jiraga, holy crap," and like hold their attention. Aldrin is literally holding Jiraga. If you want to distract Aldrin, it'll be just the briefest of moment.
Yeah. Well, I guess like.
Is that enough?
I guess what I want to do is like I want to like get us talking about it. I want to get us like. I guess like maybe I don't want to like make a distraction. I want to like get like maybe people like think like at least enough people think that like this is not the real Jiraga, that like that now we're talking about. We're like should we we need to go follow that person.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not really like.
Let me double check Misty.
You can't leave. We only want that's real Jiraga. Like, yeah.
Does Misty Visions allow you to ignore components?
It does.
It says or material components, not verbal or somatic. So you will be casting a spell.
Let's see.
Casting a spell inherently has like, you know, we often like
El
hand
Mumbo
wave it,
and El
and
Jumbo.
I know that I have been very wibbly wobbly with magic, but I do think it's important to be like, when you cast a spell, you are doing something, right? It doesn't just happen.
Well, can it be a hand thing? Does it have to be like a word thing?
You can whisper them. You could like maybe make a stealth check to see if they notice that you're casting a spell.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, no, you can definitely try and hide that you're casting a spell. I'd allow that.
Yeah. So yeah, I might maybe I turn around and I'm like, yeah, I guess it makes sense, and then turn around, I whisper something under my breath, and I do like a little hand motion, and I'm like, "Oh, look over there!"
All right.
I want to propose.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to propose that. Oh, that's not the button I wanted to press. I was looking at levitate for
It's a good spell.
potentially helping to get that thing out of the water.
Nice.
I want to propose that that my inadvertent telepathy will like amplify the success or failure of this, where if you can convince me with your bluff, then I'll react like without thinking about it. Oh wow, there is someone running away, right? And Aldrin will hear that inside their head. And if you don't, I'll be like, "What? That doesn't make sense." And they'll also hear that inside of their head.
Is there like
I do like that.
Is there like yeah, I do like that, and I feel like I'm willing to face the consequences. I guess I'm wondering, is there like a mechanical way for fooling NPCs? Like, what would I have to roll in order to like convince?
Yeah, it'd be a deception check. That's a skill.
It's deception versus.
I do want to say often I
deception
like
versus.
I'm just gonna set a DC for it.
It's like wisdom saving throw. Is that right?
Versus check. I don't think there's an official thing because skills are very underdeveloped in 5e. I'm just gonna set. I'm gonna set a DC. I tend not to use versus. I feel like me arbitrarily setting a DC is better than the dice arbitrarily setting a DC.
All right, I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna. Tell me if I shouldn't set this, but I'm gonna assume that it's like a wisdom saving throw. So for me, I have a save DC of 12 effectively, right? Because I have +2. So if you can beat 12, then you've convinced me.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna propose that if you get above or equal, what do you think? Let's say if you get a 12, then you've convinced Puddles, and that'll give you advantage to convince.
Your proficiency bonus, does it go up with level?
Proficiency does, but it won't have yet. It will go up at 5.
I don't have proficiency in wisdom.
Right.
Oh.
It's irrelevant, right? Like it's.
Yeah, I guess I was just asking for my roll.
Exactly.
Oh, for your roll.
Yeah, but no,
it'll
does
go up, but it hasn't gone
level.
up yet. Probably.
Yeah. I think it's at 5. I could be mistaken, but I think it's 5.
So are we saying meat beats?
Pardon?
Are you saying meat beats?
Yeah. So what I want you to do is, first of all, what's the action you're committing to?
The action I'm committing to.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had like Blades and Darks dice rolls. The action I am committing to is I am going to go like I'm going to appear very startled and look over and point to somewhere that no one else is currently looking,
mm-hmm.
and people naturally going to look and they're going to see a very Draga-like figure running into the forest.
Okay, I'd like you to roll a stealth check to not have people notice that you're casting a spell. If you fail, you will have disadvantage on the eventual test to convince them. They won't immediately be like, "You cast a spell." Like they'll just be maybe a bit more suspicious of what they see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay, I want you to beat.
To see that advantage or anything like that, right? Or
yeah, I want you to beat a 15 on a stealth check.
All right, I think I can do that. We'll see. Ooh.
Okay, so you go to cast the spell. It doesn't take that long, right? We're not in the heightened senses, the thing of combat, but this is still only going to take you a few hand movements, a few words. And while the silent image is like very natural to you now, you like can just like do it. And so it's not something that everyone's going to immediately be like, wow, you just cast a spell. People don't even know you can cast magic yet. So far, your magic has been very unawares. So I don't think anyone's like, you cast a spell, but they are thinking like...
Did someone cast a spell?
It's the kind of thing where retroactively...
In the detective movie, like someone will point that out and like and if you look closely in the background, kind of thing.
It's retrospectively, people will remember that you did something weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, they saw it, but they didn't really think about it yet. But you still have a chance to say what you say. So the vision appears where you want it to, and this is on the other side of the river.
The other side of the river, yeah.
Okay, so I don't think anyone sees it appear. So yeah, that's fine. And even if they did, could have been like an invisibility thing. Totally justifications. Magic makes a lot of things possible. I do think it makes sense to be a deception check, although I'd love to make it a performance because I think that's an underused skill in the game. And you are... I literally was about to refer to this as a performance that you were putting on, because it is one. But go ahead and make a deception test.
Okay. And
you are going to have disadvantage at this. Now, here's the weird thing about this test. If you beat 12, you will then have advantage again.
Okay.
So what I would like you to do, make one roll. If the first, if the lowest number is bigger than a 12, you will switch to the first number. I know it's weird, but that's what we're doing.
Okay.
The lower number is not higher than the 12, but even if it had been, wouldn't be enough. So
it's a 21 if it had been.
No, because it would have been. You wouldn't have gained advantage. You would have counteracted your disadvantage.
Yeah.
See what you're doing.
So,
okay.
You pointed out. I guess let's play it out.
Yeah, dang. That was a risky play.
Yeah. So yeah, Aldrin was pulling out the scroll. That hadn't actually done anything yet. You cast this spell quickly and then say,
"Oh my gosh! Look over there."
I think people will look. They might as well, and they squint out of there and they go, "Did you cast a spell?"
No. But Jiraga's over here.
Is that Jiraga translucent?
I don't think it's translucent.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like. It's not like you failed to cast the spell or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did the spell right. It just like wasn't convincing.
Yeah.
So I think like at this point I see that like no one's buying it. It's like must be one of his tricks.
Yeah, one of his tricks.
Yeah. Can I roll to convince that that wasn't me that got the spell?
Sure. Normally I would say let it ride, but whatever. Go for it.
Okay, that's another deception check. I don't know. I want to at least feel like I want to roll.
Yeah, I get it.
Even if I just made this thing being a deeper hole.
I get it, yeah.
There we go.
Look at that. The exact opposite of the previous one.
Yeah, weird.
The thing is...
We need to tie that rat up more. That's a tricky rat.
Yeah.
How did the rat...
It's best that I take them back as quickly as possible.
Like this.
I suppose it's best I take them back as quickly as possible then.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I was gonna say no.
How does teleportation work in this world?
Magic? What do you mean?
I don't know. Like if I like grab onto a person while they're about to teleport,
you can try it. I don't think that you could 100% know. There are multiple spells that can teleport people. But yeah, so Aldrin is just like...
Yeah, it depends. Was it a French sorcerer or an English sorcerer? Did they learn from Liveness or Newton?
It's true.
Alright, I guess I'm just going to go on a hunch then.
I wouldn't normally use a scroll here, but... And they unfurl it. Desperate times. We have not a moment to lose. Thank you all. And they'll start to read from the scroll. It'll still take a second. Anyone can do anything.
I think, like... Puddles isn't like meaning to say out loud, but and he isn't like sure that he wants to necessarily stop. I want to call him Alucard now, but
yeah. What's Aldrin backwards?
An A, right? Aldrin. Yeah, what's Aldrin backwards? That's right. He isn't sure that he actually wants to stop Aldrin, but he's like, can't help but feel, and it gets like telepathically projected that like, oh, since we were getting the short end of the stick here, like this whole mess is their fault in the first place. What are they going to do to make it better?
You know,
We're just gonna
I'm
leave?
with the verbose. I'm sorry, what are you again?
I'm a turtle.
I'm with the verbose turtle. I mean, no offense, but
I'm
are you
Puddles.
going to trust a bunch of politicians with this? We're the ones doing stuff. Getting the job done. Speaking of which, I have a trick to help us get that out of the river.
Cool. So, as you're saying that, I do like the idea that you could have a chance to maybe make him hesitate. I think he normally would just read the scroll, cast the spell, not really care. Talk is cheap. But if a number of you are all sort of like piling on the same concept,
Can you hear me?
there might be a chance. Hi, B.
Hi. Sorry, my computer ran out of battery. What
I'm
happened?
not sure that.
They're still here. They're just in the process of reading the scroll.
I mean, I'm not sure that I've got a better idea than him leaving, but
You
it
know,
feels like they should be
before he-
doing more for us than this somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, but if he's really slippery and about to escape, like casting spells while he's still tied up and gagged, it might be safer to let him go. But I mean, seriously, I don't think a politician is gonna give it. No offense, Alderin, you're good with that sword, but we're not gonna see any credit for this.
Sorry.
Wait, is Aldrin a politician?
Did someone say something while I was out?
Aldrin is just beginning to read from the scroll. Puddles had an internal thought that Warren then jumped on and started to elaborate forth from.
Internal? What?
Shh, you can't hear me. You can only hear Puddles.
I'm sorry, I'm reconnecting. I cut out.
Anybody
be
else
careful
see-
there. It might start bleeding.
What Paul say?
Bleed.
Sorry, what was that, Puddles?
I said be careful. You might get telepathy bleed.
Right, yes.
Oh God, feedback.
But yes, B.
Or what did
Is Aldrin still reading the spell?
Well, I mean, depends on how long you're actually talking for. I'm trying to give you as players an opportunity to do something if you wish to.
Well,
and not
does he stop
penalize
reading the
you.
spell?
He does not stop
Darcy,
unless
can
you
you
want
hear
to
me?
roll something. Yes, I can hear you, B. Sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to know what was said while I was out.
Puddles?
Oh, I thought Darcy did the recap.
I think she disconnected during that too. Lag, you know what happens.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was. Puddles was just kind of mumbling in their head that that like it seems like the from what we heard, it seems like the Sorcerers Guild or whatever it's called,
The
the
council.
council,
Mhm.
that the council made this mess in the first place, and they kind of owe us more than just taking off.
Yeah.
Right. So there's been sort of a discussion that has started based off of this thought that leaked into Warren's head. If you wish to put some dice behind something and like really make them stop,
Yeah, I think I would
maybe
like
they
to, like-
will, right? Because there's enough of
Do they
you-
stop?
They won't inherently stop, right? They're like, I'm gonna finish the spell. I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't have time to like argue with you about this. This is not my job. And it's like 2 a.m. like, but
Well, hold up there, Brian.
You're-
Adams.
you're
Let's
a-
just talk this through.
you're a charismatic
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah, I think at that point
You
there's
might be
a
able to,
point
right?
after Warren and I have been talking for a little bit where I like look over at Aldrin and I'm like, you are still casting that, are you?
Yeah.
What do they say?
They're continuing to cast. They're not saying anything to you.
Okay, I firebolt the scroll.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that
I just
just
imagine
happened.
like the expression on Cass's face is like that worked itself out.
I'm gonna have. I need you to make me not an attack roll, but I guess effectively an attack roll. Yeah, make me an attack roll, but you're not trying to hit a target. You're just trying to cast the spell fast enough that you finish before they do. Because the spell technically takes an action, right? Like I'm just giving you time narratively to be able to do stuff, right? So
Yeah.
Okay.
you go to cast a
want me to
spell.
make a
You just
different roll,
preempt it.
like,
Pardon?
So
You
I guess
want me to
while
make
it's
it-
happening, because I don't necessarily notice it happening as it's happening. I want to like be kind of on a hunch, grabbing like maybe like brushing, like grabbing his like his tail feathers or something while it's happening, or trying to like go along with the teleportation spell.
Oh, you're trying to get ready to like grab them when they cast the spell. That makes sense. Totally. You can have that action primed. I'm into that. Okay.
Okay, cool.
This is not a full caster. They are casting a magic from a spell or from a scroll. They are really a scout first, not a wizard. They've just been given basically a magical item that they're activating. So the fact that maybe they're a little bit slower, I think that makes sense to me. But
sounding out.
yeah, sure. Alleluia.
No,
So
that's a P, not a D.
And a normal like caster would probably. I'm gonna put a flat 10. I want you to beat a 10. It should be doable.
With what? With what check?
Just make like a normal attack roll that you would do with the stuff. So it's your caster ability plus your proficiency.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a 15.
Ooh, that
15.
Nice.
Great. Yeah. You blast the firebolt. They're like getting through the spell, and then the firebolt hits the page, and it starts to burn. The magic inherent in the paper itself that has been imbued into the scroll, going off like a catalyst, and it ignites. And they stand there and look at you.
Whoa. I think we should all just take it easy.
Wow, Pels, how dare you impede important council business?
I'm sorry, Alucard, but you just weren't listening.
Yeah, I mean,
You were
that's
going to leave
true.
and stuff. We were
That is
having
true.
a
We had-
conversation here.
Puddles.
We all did this
I'm
together.
going to need
You shouldn't
to-
just whisk them away.
You all, the council will hear of your involvement, but this is a dangerous individual, and the more time it takes to get them back to the council, the worse.
It's just gonna be like, I'm gonna pull out my second scroll.
Without that, though,
But,
I'm going to need-
that's all fine, but you got to stop and you got to figure it out first.
Yeah.
Puddles,
We're trying to do a thing.
you are going to come with me and assist me in escorting Shiraga back to the council.
No, I've already been away from my rocks for too long.
I mean,
You're going
I'll
to bring the council here so that they can fix everything.
I mean, Aldrin, I'll help you escort the prisoner.
We can
Thank
make
you,
you another
guys.
scroll if you need another scroll.
Is that within your ability?
How hard could it be?
All right. So we'll all just take it easy. We'll set a watch so this slippery little rat doesn't get away. But we gotta, like, no offense, but I don't know your counsel from anything else. I'm just here because people needed some help. But
Frankly, you
I
didn't
don't
even
know.
do anything to help find this guy. You just kind of showed up and said that you were looking for him, and then we solved our problem, and then you were going to take off. Even though the problem was your fault, wasn't it?
I am a scout.
besides
for the
which, we
council.
gotta find that mouse.
I'm not unsympathetic. But it's the
That's
middle of
good.
the night. And
Well, then we better get back to camp.
yes.
Come on.
yes. If you're all willing
All right,
to
hold up.
assist in returning them to the council,
Sure.
then we can take the extra time. But we cannot afford to have Gerard.
The council isn't
get
important
loose
right now.
Again.
I mean, I want to go to the council and see this through. I mean, I wasn't really doing anything else, and I got a feeling. But there's some stuff we got to do here first. Like, there's a missing mouse. There's this thing rotting in the river, poisoning half a village.
Yes.
There's some stuff we got to do.
If we had gotten Jiraga back sooner, we could have addressed those sooner.
Look, do we solve
Can
problems? Aldrin, you're out here solving problems. The politicians, they just send out their people. They don't know how to actually
We can
deal
send
with
them a
this
letter.
stuff.
They can come show up if they want, if they think it's important. You seem to think it's important. They'll probably think it's important.
What good is them coming out here?
To do whatever they were going to do. They put them on trial or whatever. Is that not what you're going to do?
Right here at the river, we need to take them
Yeah.
back to Thessalia,
Who?
the city that they're in. I don't think I've ever said it in the before, but you would know as characters.
He mumbled. Also, I haven't left my hot spring for about 50 years.
That's fair.
Well, I think we'll just do the best we can. I say we head back to the hot spring after we deal with this. I'll point towards the river. And then we'll make sure you get your rat back to the council. That sound fair?
I suppose it can't be
I
helped.
don't even think it's really a rat anymore.
Well, there is
It
that.
seems to be dissolving.
Yes. Let's do what we can while we're here.
All right. So,
Now, I know I seem like a pretty easygoing tortoise, but don't... I ain't no conjurer of cheap tricks. You don't just run away. Don't you just run off. I was getting kicked out of your council university before you were born, kiddo.
Wow. Seems likely.
do you have like
Yeah.
a skincare routine? Because you don't look 50.
Oh, me? Oh. My scales spend a lot of time in the hot springs. It turns out that water wrinkles aren't real wrinkles. Also, that doesn't happen to scales.
Huh. I just get soggy.
I mean,
Oh.
that's no regular hot springs. That's a hot spring of youth and health and prosperity. It will
Let's
fix
go
your
there.
marriage. You should come by sometimes.
I do want to go there. Although, do I have to be married? Because this rabbit hasn't settled down yet.
Ah,
Married?
there are many lovely rabbit folks there. I will set you up, yes, if you come by and bring money.
I don't have that much money, but I'll do what I can.
I feel like we're fading out on this conversation, which I like. But it sounds like we've agreed
Um,
to head back to the hot springs, so we can sort of maybe.
Before we do,
Yeah.
I would like to
Head
get
back first to
people
Hot
to-
Springs and then to the city.
Yep.
Is the
But
plan.
before we leave, I want to get the Hydra thing out of the
Yes,
river.
yeah,
Is
do
that where
that.
it is?
Yeah.
So I'm going to like share a rope around and get like the strong people, which is not me. Dump stat. And but what I will contribute is I will do an old parlor trick of cast the spell reduce to make it small and easy to move.
Okay.
Nice.
Smaller.
It's only
Oh,
1/8 of
perfect.
the weight.
Yeah. What's that look like when you cast it?
Oh, this is a classic bard trick. I've been doing this as in taverns along the way, and it's never a bad thing to make things appear bigger than they were. But anyway, or smaller. So yeah, here we go. And I just play a little song and tell a little story about the amazing shrinking and growing pea, and it just as I'm telling the story, each sentence it's the mystical garden of Mr. McGillicuddy, and where the vegetables, they could be massive or they could be tiny, but there was this one. Actually, I'm going to switch it now. Pumpkin. This pumpkin was huge, and my great uncle wanted to get it out of there. Would feed his family for like years, so he came up with a way to shrink it, and then each sentence, it's like the camera cuts to me, and then it cuts back to the Hydra body, and it's just a little bit smaller, and then cuts back to me, and it's a little bit smaller, cuts back to me. So then he sprinkled it with this amazing dust, and the pumpkin began to shrink down until it could fit it in his pocket. And he just strolled out the front gate, no one the wiser. Yep. They ate the pumpkin pies and pumpkin slices and, seeds. And after a while, they started getting really sick of pumpkin, though.
But pumpkin's really good.
I agree, but you eat it for a year, and it starts getting a little rotten. It's a little much, so you got to use it wisely.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't leave the pumpkin out past Halloween, or it turns into a vampire pumpkin.
Oh, you leave it too long, it gets all mushy and shriveled.
No, it turns into a vampire pumpkin, and it rolls around and goes burr, burr, burr.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
I love it. And so the Hydra body is now an eighth the size and much easier to yeet out, and we'll throw it up on the shore somewhere.
Or how big is it now that it's being reduced, Darcy?
Well, it was large, right? Or was it huge?
It was large. I'm thinking probably
so it would now be considered medium. It goes down a level of...
it goes down a level? Oh, okay. So that's... Okay.
Yeah, if you do the math, it reduces each dimension. It becomes half as large, which makes it 1/8 as heavy.
That makes sense, yeah.
I can levitate. I'm asking because I was thinking of levitating it, which is I can levitate up to 500 pounds.
Oh yeah, that would probably happen now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it seemed like it probably wouldn't have.
It probably. I don't know. I'm not sure.
But maybe I don't know. Need to. Maybe we'll just haul it a little bit. Now that it's so small, I don't think there's much point in me.
Yeah, you can haul it.
And I mean, I'm not in quite these words, but you can probably hear Puddles thinking this out loud too. He's just like, oh, I mean, I was gonna levitate it, but I would probably just drag it.
Great.
Quick question for the DM.
Go ahead.
When we went up a level, we lost all our spells. We haven't rested or anything, so we're still kind of equivalent.
Yeah.
Of level 3.
Yeah.
I think you will have any new spell slots, but you won't have regained any of spent spell slots. Right?
Cool.
Yeah. I don't want to just say you don't get the effects of level until you rest. That feels a little limiting. Especially since I've been intentionally light on the ability to rest. I want to keep you moving. So yeah, you clean up the corpse as best you can. What do you do with it?
I propose that our ranger friend picks a spot that's mostly stone so it doesn't seep through.
Yeah, just find
pile
something.
It up over there.
Just pile it somewhere. Let some animal eat it.
Maybe bury it. Anybody got mold?
I think we could do it. You could do a cairn, bury it in a pile of rocks.
Or we could burn it.
You could probably burn it. I don't know if that's good or not. Hey, you could do it.
Let's do a test burn. So, and again, this is stuff that's going through Puddles' head that you can hear if you'd like to.
Right.
Just let's chop off a chunk and see how gross burning it is. before we try and burn the whole thing.
Great. Yeah, you go about that. You take a piece of like the rubbery hide and the leaking guts, and yeah, it smells like burning rubber. It's not great.
I mean, burning rubber is probably fine. It doesn't sound like it's gonna just like salt the earth for the whole area around here, so maybe it's fine.
So what is the plan here? I know I may be belaboring the point, but I'm curious.
Let's burn that thing and hope it doesn't get too bad. Can't be worse than poisoning the water, right?
Yeah, you don't need to breathe nearly as often as drink.
That's Jez does not know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Wait, I didn't say that out loud, did I?
Wait.
Something's up.
You didn't say that out loud.
I was making a joke anyway. It's fine.
And I lower my voice. Did you see her too?
See who?
Nothing. Never mind. Let's burn this.
Oh, okay. I'll go gather some firewood.
I'm gonna stand not downwind.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I need to get back. Toriak. It's gonna be a long walk. Are you staying somewhere?
I don't think.
It's late.
Yeah, you should come to the hot spring to rest up with us. It'll be a long way to get down river.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I've never been to the hot springs. I hear they're nice.
Yeah, we live there.
Tiff is gonna be so worried.
Well, you can tell your story yourself when you see them again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I hope she can figure out what. I'm gonna have to.
Oh,
maybe I can take.
What if we
some
leave
of
a
this?
note? Does anybody? Is anybody? Oh wait, hold on. And I'll dig through my pack, and I think I actually have some writing stuff, parchment, yeah, and
Cool.
ink. So I'm gonna write out a message to Tiff from Jez and just write whatever they want me to write about, like gone to find.
Yeah,
you know,
in case
heal
they come
up.
back to this spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also during that time, Jez is going to take the empty potion bottle that she had and try and like grossly take some of the like runoff, either like just so that there's some kind of sample that they can compare to when trying to make a cure later. She doesn't know what will help. She's just hoping that it is something. Best she can do.
I'm going to use 2 of my oil flasks to assist with the burning of the body.
Great.
Because apparently I don't need my hood lantern much anymore.
That's a good point.
So I only have 1 oil flask left, but I pour it all over it.
Someone's
once
like, can
the
you spare
sample's
that much
taken."
oil? And you're like, it'll be fine, I guess. I don't know.
I like watching the flames dance.
Cool.
I wonder if these things are made of oil.
Yeah, as it
They seem
burns,
to burn real good.
It does burn quite well, but also it does let out an acrid smell. It is not pleasant, and it is like choking if you breathe it in, which you wouldn't, but like conceptually, right?
Try to avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna move away.
Yeah. So you set that up, and well,
Any loot around though, while we're doing all this?
yeah, dropped a battle axe. I just kind of had it.
I mean, that stands to reason.
It just had one in its guts.
Yeah, I mean, what's this drop table? Are there any, like, legendary maces? I don't know.
I'm gonna maybe check around the area just in case there's like a little den somewhere.
Sure, that's a good idea. I mean, Jiraga was here with a thing.
Yeah, where was he staying?
Yeah. I mean, previously you saw him
Actually-
at a campsite, and he had abandoned it quickly, and then you followed. Yeah. So
Let's
that
search
campsite
Jirago
is
too.
where. Yeah. Feel free to search Jiraga.
Yeah.
Jiraga is naked.
That's not a wand. Okay.
Yeah, no, they are like you look at them and it's not like super obvious immediately, and then you realize like no, that is like their own twisted flesh. Like it is like leathered on their body. Like it is not good. But they don't seem to have anything on them, which is surprising, right? Like you'd expect them to have like components or something as a wizard.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All right. And just I'm gonna look around just to see if there's anything in the area. Should I do an investigation?
Yeah. Does anybody else want to? Is anyone else looking around, or what's everyone else at? I'm just gonna intentionally call
Ooh,
it.
Can I guide myself for guidance?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
So before you do that, or while you're doing that, Cass, what have you found yourself doing? Right. So Aldrin has largely just been standing with Jiraga. They're like resigned to that we're gonna have to do it the slow way, but they're not really helping doing much because they need to be. They feel like they can't let Jiraga go, despite the fact that they're tied up.
I think I like say to Aldrin, I'm like, besides, you shouldn't really be doing much of anything in your condition. You got a nasty burn. Come on back home and we'll get you patched up. There was only so much I could do in the field.
They're like, gritting their teeth. It's like yelling at you is not going to be helpful right now, but they're so mad at you.
And I'm being unreasonably friendly.
Yeah. Cass, are you there?
He thinks aloud.
You're muted, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking being unreasonably friendly would probably make them even more gritting their teeth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cass, so what are you doing? I remember you had your eyes on something, and the situation has changed since then.
Yeah. So I imagine Aldrin's watching Jiraga like a hawk.
Yeah, they're like, literally in contact with them. I suppose Puddles and maybe Winston, not entirely sure. I'll get to you in a moment. And Warren sort of are setting up this situation to burn the body. But once it's like lit,
yeah, I think I'll just engage in like friendly conversation. I guess I'll be like
with Aldrin.
Yeah, with Aldrin. Yeah, I'll be like, so I guess without the scroll, how are you planning on getting them there?
We're going to have to walk.
I think it's funny how Aldrin suddenly went from being like completely irrelevant to suddenly the focus of everything.
Yeah.
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 They woke up.
Oh, but yeah, which way do you think you'll go?
They went from being a plot device to an obstacle.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm honestly not sure if I wanted to let them go or not.
Yeah.
It was just that they made that decision for us by deciding to leave before we'd made the decision.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm just asking for specifics, like what take. You get hire a cart. When we get to the inn, I don't know. What are you thinking?
That seems like a good idea. I really haven't put a lot of thought into it. That's what the scroll was for. When things are urgent, we've got a few.
Yeah.
You keep saying they're urgent. Why are they urgent exactly?
don't need to explain myself to you.
I guess what I'm trying to do is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't have to, but it would really help.
I guess I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like make.
You're in my forest, after all.
Make him think he can trust me.
Sure. Yeah, you can endear yourself to him. I think that's. I think that's working. I think that's happening. I don't think it's not like a check. That's just.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. That is. I think that he might have even noticed like he has been very like previously a pretty affable guy, and then like in the moment of like I need to go now, thank you everybody, and then after the scroll went down, he has been terse and frustrated. And as you're asking questions like, and he's just like, I guess I'm gonna have to do this thing. His tone had softened, is my point.
Yeah, and I think like actually, what I'm doing to help is like I am kind of taking his side a little in the conversation and be like, well, I mean, obviously he's very distraught about this whole thing. This is a dangerous person. Like what could happen if we have to walk all the way there.
Yeah. Winston. I imagine you probably helped set up the burning situation, unless you had some opinions on whether that should happen or not. I don't know. Afterwards, I'm curious where your focus switches to. I imagine maybe you are simply trying to upsell Jez, maybe. I'm largely trying to figure out whether or not... trying to figure out if anybody else...
Pretty much selling the hot springs to anyone to listen.
Cool. No, I think that makes sense. So we sort of see you doing that. So, Warren, when you think, hey, maybe I should look around, you're the only one looking around right now. So go ahead and meet, and I don't know, is that a investigations check or is that a perception? I don't know. Investigation's weird. It's a weird test. I feel like that's like putting pieces together. So if you wanted to like sort of almost like track them, that would make sense. Although people usually use survival for tracking. I think it's largely just like perception, like noticing the things that are in the area. All that said, I don't know if Todd's here right now. I saw that he posted in chat, be right back. So probably not. I shouldn't be throwing to him. So, there you are. And, I mean, I guess we're about to, like, end, honestly, but we have a few more minutes still. After investigating the area as best as Warren can in the short amount of time before everyone's like, all right, we're ready to head out. Well, actually, no, that doesn't add up. Okay, so the fire is burning. And it is letting off a stench into the air as the flesh crackles and pops and just is disgusting. As you, I guess, sort of busy yourselves getting anything that you... I guess I'm like, I feel like there's not really any teardown is the thing, right? Like, you just kind of showed up here, set up the fire. Yeah, what are you doing? Other than, we know that Warren is sort of looking around to see if there's anything else in the area. We know that there's sort of a conversation still happening. But are you waiting for this fire to go? Are you planning on just leaving it here unattended? What is the idea for that? Hope I didn't disconnect.
Oh,
hi, B.
No, I can hear you.
Great, awesome, love to hear that.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, my thoughts on what we do next is like we start walking back, and I think I keep trying to ask Aldrin and try to get him to open up almost like why he's in such a hurry to get rat wizard guy.
Traga?
I was thinking Jahira, but I'm like, that's a different person again.
Yeah.
I've got like Alucard and Jahira for some reason now.
Great.
Which isn't useful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Aldrin is largely stonewalling you, and Cass is sort of by proxy, like answering these questions, right?
Who is answering them?
Cass, you were saying that you were, right? You were trying to take.
I mean,
inside and to endear.
Yeah.
Herself to him. Yeah.
I mean, if you just told us, then you still have your scroll. Don't have to be so difficult.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm not sure what exactly I would say, but it'd probably be like, well, I mean, it's like obviously it's like worried about what's to happen if this guy gets away. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, like, yes, you talk about that. I think that you're not in a situation.
I don't know. I feel like there's more to it than that.
Moving.
Because he's not getting away.
I mean, it seems very tricky.
I think that so the fire is burning. I'm still not entirely sure if you're planning on like letting it burn to fruition or if you're planning on leaving it. But I think it sounds like you're at very least not moving immediately. So it's burning for a bit before you start heading out. Yes, am I wrong?
Oh, it's all good. I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Please.
You're talking about the fire, about the like the Hydra fire?
Yes, the Hydra fire.
I had a thought, which is that I'd like to try using my my new telepathy ability on accident again.
Okay.
Or at least not necessarily completely on accident, but like kind of unintentionally, I guess, rather than on accident. If the difference makes sense.
Sure.
Which is that like the goodness, Jiraga? Is that his name?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, me. I think Jiraga's awake, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, they're awake. They're
And kind of
struggling, yeah.
And kind of struggling there.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of look at Jiraga and like kind of puzzled, and I'm like, so what's this guy's deal anyway? Like, are you even still like, can you even tell what we're saying? And I'm gonna use my like detect thoughts.
Ooh, all right.
My new detect thoughts ability.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. That's a good one. Okay, I like this. This is going somewhere. That's detect magic. Detect thoughts. Give me detect thoughts.
It's like it gives me their surface thoughts. So like what's at the front of their mind.
Let's see. So
And,
you
like,
can cast
feelings and
this.
stuff like that.
It does have components, but it's also like a weird psychic thing. Like you do sort of need to cast it, but as you're saying,
requiring no spell slots or components.
Components or material components.
It just says components, period. Like it's
Right,
just like an innate
because you
ability
are
of my
telepathic. You're not actually casting.
Yeah, I'm not
a spell.
casting it.
Right,
It's
yes.
a representation of my telepathy.
Yes.
It's a
Okay.
spell-like
very good.
effect, I suppose you could say.
Right. For the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures. Great. When you cast it, and as an action on each of your turns until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature. Cool. Initially, you learn the surface thoughts of the creature. What is most on its mind in the moment? Okay. So, you're going to get these, like, flashes of...
Another thing I wanted to note, in the version of it that I was reading, at least, it mentioned that it was... that if, for example, if you were using it in an interrogation,
Yes.
when you ask someone a question, they're likely to think about that question.
Right.
Like that's just kind of a natural surface thought. So that's kind of what I was going to meaning to sort of stumble into when I'm like, can you even hear us anyway? Like I want to see if it seems like he has cognizant thoughts of like if he's still like a person or if he's like transformed into some just eldritch monster.
Yeah. No, I like the specification that is your intent, because you're getting sort of, first of all, you get like flashes of emotion, right? And they're very like base instinctual, like danger, hunger, flee, terror kind of like emotions, right? They're just like that. They don't feel nuanced as thoughts. Now, these are surface level thoughts, so how much detail you're getting, I'm not entirely sure. If you probe deeper, if you succeed, where's the part where it talks about that? Because I have read that before as well. When you talk about the whole interrogation, I think that's specifically for the deeper level. Like surface thoughts, they're ill-defined. I think you're just getting like emotions, really.
I can show you if I can get back to it.
I'm looking at it. I can see the thing. It's just, if you probe deeper, you can gain insight into its reasoning, its emotional state, something that looms large in its mind. Now, all of that is deeper. That's even like more detailed than surface level thoughts. So I think I'm correct in saying that you're just getting like emotion. Yeah, you're just getting like immediate thoughts. And I think the thing is that if you're thinking about like, okay, I said a thing, did someone immediately start thinking like, I am Jiraga and this is my deal? You're not getting that, whether or not that is because of the spell.
Okay, so it says this. Here's the line. It says that questions verbally directed at the creature naturally shape the course of its thoughts, so the spell is particularly effective as part of an interrogation.
Yep. Okay, I see that.
Okay.
You're right, but that's like, okay. I think that's a probing deeper thing, though.
I don't think that there is a. Okay. I mean, I can focus on them for a while.
Yeah, as an action, you can shift your attention to another creature, or you can probe deeper.
If you probe deeper. Yeah, sure. We can say that that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's maintained for a minute.
Right. So you initially sort of immediately you're getting these sort of just like panic, run, flee, leave. Get out of here.
I don't intend for it to like seem super invasive, but for me to be like kind of like curious more. Like the probing deeper is mostly from like me being curious and like thinking it over.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So Todd's back. I'm gonna jump over to him.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Think about. No, it's fine. You're still basically. I think everyone's basically decided. Yes, let's move on and head back to the hot springs. But there is this fire burning, and you are taking some time to look around at the surrounding area. No one else seems to be joining you in your investigation, but yes, you can cast guidance on yourself. What does that look like?
It's part of the bard background of College of Spirits, so it has to do with the stories. Yeah, it has to do with storytelling, and I think it's almost this little limerick or mantra that he always says when he has to do certain things.
Cool.
So in this case, it's kind of like that old. It's like a grandmother having a particular saying for almost any circumstance, and it's not always the same one.
Can you mute for a second? We're hearing a lot of that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So in this case, it's like it's no stone unturned, no cupboard uncrooked. Look around. Don't forget to check the books.
Cool.
And it didn't help me at all as I rolled a 5 and a 2. So that total investigation is.
So I think it's probably a perception check. 'Cause you're just trying to see a thing in general, right? Investigations are like putting the pieces together.
Oh, that's true.
So
that's
depending on your modifier, might change the results. And it's just giving you a bonus to your roll. It's not giving you advantage or anything. So, what's your?
Pardon me.
Did you roll the
I got
guidance
this in
die?
2 different places. I did. Sorry, it's right next to it, but it's in green, so it didn't show up. I'll use it. It's a 2. I'm green screening, so that's why it didn't appear.
Oh.
But it was a 2, so a total of, I don't know which one to believe, because I think, yeah, I guess add 2 to that, so 9 in total.
9 in total. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna
Not
do
great.
the trick. It is dark.
Yeah.
If there is like a nearby den that Jiraga had been hiding out in, it is unknown to you. Puddles.
Fair enough.
You are thinking about these thoughts, these emotions that you're instinctively reading from this person that you are thinking about. As an action, you may probe deeper. If you probe deeper, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. I will do so.
Oh, it's against my spell save, you
fail.
say?
Yeah, it would be, yeah. And that is actually part of the reason why it buffs a stat, is that you use the stat that you buffed. So if you were like, I really need bonus to your wisdom, then it'd be based on your wisdom, not your charisma, despite the fact that all of your other spells are based on charisma.
That's a little convoluted, but that makes sense.
Yeah. The casting modifier is whatever your telepathy is based on, which in your case is charismatic telepathy. But they rolled a 2. Big, fat 2. So, yeah, if they succeed, blah, 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 blah. If they fail, you gain insight into its reasoning, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind. Do you have anything you're specifically looking for, or should I just give you something random?
There are a few things that I'm kind of curious about, I suppose you could say I'm looking for, which is, I want to know if this is a person. Like, I want to know if Jiraga is still a thinking, feeling person, or if they've been transformed into some eldritch animal spell. Like,
so they are thinking. They are thinking, and we know this because you can detect their thoughts. That is one of the
yeah, but are they thinking like an animal, or are they thinking like a person?
And I think that yes, as you probe deeper, you find, well, it's at first you just got,
because presumably they spoke the same language as me when we were
totally, yeah,
like when it was its previous self, if it isn't itself still.
As you probe
so
deeper,
like it's
the thoughts, they do feel unrefined. They don't feel like a person thinking. Now, there can still be thoughts on their mind. It's just not reasoning. But it's also in contrast to very technical thoughts at the same time. So while you don't hear them thinking stuff like, I need to get back and help my master do a thing or whatever, but it's really just like, I need to run, I need to flee, I need to get out of here, right? It's just panic. It's not even like the words of like, I need to run. It's just panic, right? There's just the emotion. You're also picking up the thoughts of just like formulae and numbers and like calculation, just sort of separate to anything, like just arcane formula running through their mind constantly.
Interesting.
Cass, you realize something.
Yeah.
Warren had checked to see, does Jiraga have anything on them? Jiraga does not. They appear to be completely naked, running around free in the wild. But you remember that in the campsite you were at, there were some notes. You found some notes, but you went, oh, this wasn't all of them. they hurriedly grabbed some notes and ran off with them.
Oh yeah.
Where are those notes?
Huh. And they don't seem to be on him.
They do not seem to be on him.
Yeah. That's something I realized.
Now, he didn't necessarily run off with them. Maybe they just didn't see some of them. Maybe they got burned. Hard to say, but they're not here.
So may I actually take a moment alone and like try and like look at the notes I do have and maybe see what he was doing when he ran off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will say,
I mean,
if
when we start heading back, I think that's what I will do.
sort of just drift to the back of the group and start looking at your notes, or do you mean like when you actually get back?
Well, I think like I guess like
at this moment. Sorry,
I think I'll drift that off. Yeah,
I want to say you hear the sound of something approaching, something large. Something that you would immediately, as anyone who lives here, identify as one of the beasts of the woods. This is something I've mentioned a few times. There are massive animals that are like animals, not like people. And that's what natural critters are like in this world. They are these massive things. You saw the like giant lightning bugs earlier. This is like a giant, well, something else. You don't know what it is yet, but it is approaching from the direction. Well, I guess not necessarily probably from the other side of the river, actually. Yeah. Well, which isn't too surprising. You knew that things are out there. You said before it is not safe, and then you lit up a beacon. That is so. But I think I'm gonna have to leave you there because we are over time, and I was letting it go past 10 because I don't know exactly when we started. So, that end was a bit weird. I kind of enjoyed the majority of the session, and then there was a little bit at the end where it was like, are we leaving or are we not leaving? And I probably let it drag on too long, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like none of us can speak for the group, so I think like...
Right, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common. If anyone has any final
leaving
thoughts,
or not leaving, as in ending the session, or
no, as in like going back to the hot springs. Everyone's like, I think we should do that, but it's like, how do you say yes, we're doing that, right? It's hard.
Oh, I thought we were doing that. It seemed like we were.
Yes, let's do that.
I think everyone agreed to do that, but just like timing wise, you know, Warren's going and investigating something, and you're having a conversation, and blah 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 blah, right?
Oh yeah, I figured we were kind of doing that as we were walking back.
Oh, no one said that. Either way, maybe you start to walk right when that happens. Although I do think that probably, you know, reading someone's mind as you walk is probably pretty difficult, but it is the telepathy ability and not you casting a spell, so maybe not. Maybe not. I'm going to call it there. Say that was it for the session. Yeah. Good job, everybody.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Darcy.
We'll catch you next time
Thanks.
on Hot Springs and Hydras. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.